Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is Maj Mahalla Panjama. Tu Mera Pita Tunhai Mera Mata. Tu Mera Bandap, Tu Mera Prata. Tu Mera Rakha Sabni Thai. Ta Pau Keha Kada Jiyo. तुमरी कृपा ते तुद पछाना तू मेरी ओट तू है मेरा माना तुझ बिन दूजा अवर ना कोई सब तेरा खेल अखाड़ा जियो जी जंत सब तुद उपाए जित जित भाणा तित तित लाए सब किछ कीता तेरा होवै नाही किछ असाड़ा जियो नाम ਧਿਆਏ ਮਹਾ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਇਆ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਏ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਸੀਤਲਾਇਆ ਗੁਰ ਪੂਰੇ ਵੱਜੀ ਵਾਧਾਈ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿੱਤਾ ਬਿਖਾੜਾ ਜੀਓ We will take this from the top, section by section, and then see what takeaways we can get. The first section, Tu Mera Pita Tunhai Mera Mata, Tu Mera Bandap, Tu Mera Prata, Tu Mera Rakha Sabni Thai Ta Pau Keha Kada Jiyo. Again, this is in Rag Maj. The fifth Nanak is addressing the Supreme Being and says, why should any fear and anxiety overtake me when you are my protector everywhere, Rakha Sabni Thai, and your protective presence appears to me as my father and my mother. Tu Mera Pita Tunhai Mera Mata. You are present in the relative and in the brother. Tu Mera Bandap Tunhai Mera Mata. If you notice, in the previous Shabad, we learnt that the Creator Self is merciful, is moved by its compassion, and in its compassion sustains all creatures. That same thought is being extended a little further here, and Guru Arjan Ji speaks of the Creator Self's protective embrace in its manifestation. It is the protective father, the nourishing mother, it is the relative, it is the friend, as well as the source of support and confidence. In short, it is everywhere at all times. And indeed, there is no other. So to put this in another way, the self reveals itself in the entire range of our experience. And our goal then becomes to develop the capacity to discern the self as it appears to us in all of these aspects and more that the Guru has described. So our father, mother, relatives, friends, and maybe even enemies are all reflections of ourselves that we see in others. So the next time your spouse irritates you, ask yourself the question, what is it about me that is irritating me? What is it about me that my spouse or my friend is reflecting? Make it a learning experience. Don't get personal about it. The next section, Tumri kripate tud pachana, तू मेरी ओट तू है मेरा माना तुझ बिन दूजा अवर ना कोई सब तेरा खेल अखाड़ा जियो. The world is being described as an arena, akhada, for your play, khel. So the world is an arena for your play. You, the Almighty, the Self, the Creator Self, you are my support, oat, and my pride, mana, confidence, pride. By your benevolence, tumri kirpate, I can recognize you, tud pachhana. Where? Everywhere. Except you, tuj bin, there is no other. Avar na koi. So the world is being depicted as an arena in which the cosmic drama is being played out. But there is only the one that is playing the cosmic drama. There's only one actor, there's one doer. So the world, or nature, or the universe, is a symbol and source of self-knowledge. Because Gurbani here, remember, is teaching us to see signs of the self everywhere. And it does that for us in the moon, in the sun, in the trees, in the changing seasons, the diversity of the species. Indeed, nature as a whole is a sign of the self as revealed to our sense perception. So when Guruji says, Tuj bin duja avarana koi sab tera khel akhada jiyo, he is in effect arousing us to become sensitive and awake to a dynamic universe. This is not a static universe. He wants us to be awake and sensitive and receptive to a dynamic universe which is seeking our participation in moving it along. Ji jant sab tud upay, jit jit pahna tit tit lai, sab kich kita tera hove, nahi kich a-sabad-a jiyo. Again, a reiteration of the same thought. Nothing belongs to us. Nahi kich a-sabad-a jiyo. Creation is your handiwork. Sab kich kita tera hove. You brought forth, upavna, upay, you brought forth all creatures, ji jant, and then, as you pleased, jit jit pana, you assigned them their roles and their tasks. So what is being said here is that the universe is designed, created, and moved forward by what Gurbani calls Ik Onkar. And in the Jap Bani, we know that Guru Nanak speaks about Hukam as being the agency of Ik Onkar that actually acts on its behalf and organizes and controls the entire life process. So all sentient life has been brought forth by Hukam. Hukam governs our moral and ethical worlds. Its workings determine the cause and effect of our actions. The distinctions that we see of all kinds, rank, status, achievement, sorrow, happiness, union and separation, all of this is happening within this system that we call Hukam. Call it the law of impermanence, if you will. But to recognize and understand Hukam is the key in Sikhi. It follows that our duty and our goal is to understand and harmonize with Hukam if we are indeed to become agents of the One, which is the idea. Naam te aaye maa sukh paaya, har gun gaye mera man seetalaya. Gur pure vajji vadai, nanak jitta bikhada jiyo. In the end, says Nanak, Nanak achieved vajji vadhai. He achieved victory in this difficult game. Nanak jitta bikhada jiyo. It's an uphill climb. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. But Guruji is saying Nanak achieved this victory. How did he do it? By guidance from the perfect enlightener. Here's the key. Gurpure Vajjivadai. Victory was achieved through the Gurpure, perfect Guru, complete Guru, the Master. And then Jitta Bikhada Jiyo. So therefore, the task of the individual is to transform the ego into intuitive awareness, hukam, because hukam is beyond the grasp of the senses at some levels. We start with sense perception, but have to move on to understand how hukam works. And to do that, you have to enable other faculties, including your intuition. So that process is learnt through Gurmat. And Gurmat requires an enabler. And the enabler is the Guru, or the Sant, or the Sad, what have you. I mean, there's many terms used for that enlightening principle of knowledge. Some takeaways for us. Number one, the process of creation is eternal. The process is still in work. It's work in progress. Humanity, that is to say, you and I, we share in the responsibility of moving the world from being chaotic to being a cosmos, to being in harmony, from strife to harmony, from violence to love. There is an ideal that we have to work towards. And we have to begin, as we recognized in the previous passage, by first embodying in ourselves that knowledge, transforming the ego. Remember, the ego, or haume, is our default state. That is to say, this is the pinnacle of evolution as things are now. But Gurmat is reaching out, calling us out to say that you are now collectively responsible to carry your own evolution beyond the constricting ego. That is what we need to understand. And the greatest obstacle in the evolution of the ego or haume is Maya, the material world, which binds the haume and obstructs it in many different ways. Yet, it is Maya that is also the enabler that allows us to unfold our innate powers and capacities. Because by its very obstruction, it is teaching us ways of freeing ourselves, and that is what causes our development. With those thoughts, until the next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.